Hey, good morning, everyone. We are going to be continuing on with this infinite scrolling game. I just wanted to mention that the idea I got for this game came from this book here, Coding Games in Scratch. And it's a pretty good book. It's got lots of great examples of cool games you can make. My sons are working through this book and learning all sorts of cool things about Scratch. So I thought I'd pull some inspiration from a game like this and if you want to check out this book from the local library or looking at chapters or Amazon, then it's got lots of great ideas for projects. So we're making our infinite scroller. We got some pretty boring terrain here. It's kind of a Christmassy themed colors, I guess. I don't know. So we need to put some maps in here, and I just wanted to show you how you might go about making terrain tiles. The technique is pretty straightforward. The only thing you got to do is make sure, like for example over here, you got to make sure that the one tile matches up with the next tile so that it's kind of seamless as to where one starts and one begins. If they don't match the beginning and end spots, like here I'll show you what I mean. That's our banana. Like this beginning here needs to match with any other one's ending, so they all kind of match up. So I've already done these ones, and that's fine. But how do you go about making it nice and doing that consistently? So here we go. Just gonna check my volume. Yeah, it's working good. And we'll do remind me tomorrow for the updates. But I pressed that a few too many times. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is make a new costume. I'm gonna draw it myself, and I'm just gonna put out. Oh, we got that Glacier Race song playing. So it's from Mega Man. I'm not sure which Mega Man. There's many Mega Man games, but it's a goodie. Anyways, I'm gonna draw out kind of beginning and end points, and I'm gonna use the line tool. I'm gonna do this in bitmap mode, I think, but it doesn't really matter too much. What I'm gonna do is just gonna use the line and click and drag, and I'm gonna sort of mark out sort of the beginning and end spots. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold Shift while I do it. Oh, does it not work? Then never mind. I'm going to switch back to vector mode. Cancel what I said earlier. Vector mode is where we want to be. And if I click and drag a line in vector mode and I hold shift while I'm clicking and dragging, see how it like locks it into like a multiple of a 45-degree angle? So I can get a straight up and down line. I'm just going to put a line here and say a line over here. And this is going to represent sort of my beginning spot and my end spot. And I'm going to just duplicate this costume. It's just going to be our guide. I'm going to rename this to a guide costume. And I'm not actually going to use this as a level because that's a pretty boring level. But and I'm not going to use this one. This is my test. I'll put green test here. But I am going to duplicate this one, and all of my new terrain that I'm going to draw is going to start here and end here. So now I think I'll convert to bitmap so I can draw some nice squiggly lines. Also, you're going to have to choose some colors for this. And you need to choose a consistent color for sort of the outside boundaries, what you're going to bump into, like the riverbank or the walls or the side of the road or whatever. And then you want to choose an inside color that's not the outside color, something different. So you can choose what you want to do. I don't know what my theme is going to be. I guess I'm going to choose um, lava. I don't know. It just came to me. I'm gonna make a lava themed racer. This will be like lava racing in lava. This sounds like an extreme sport if I've ever heard one before. So I'm gonna get the outside is gonna be maybe like a fiery kind of black, brimstony color. Like that looks pretty cool. I don't know. I'm just gonna draw like a bit of a squiggly line to represent. Maybe I'll make this one, a bit of some kind of just straight, generally straight moving down, but I'll make it a little bit interesting. Not quite so boring as just two straight lines. And then I just wanted to use those straight lines to mark out where is my start and end. So I matched those up. And then I use my eraser tool, just go in and get rid of those. And I unfortunately chopped a bit. See, I can just always go Control T, Control Z to get rid of any mistakes. I can just go back in time And I won't spend like a lot of time perfecting these or anything, but you should because your map will look so much better. So I'll just do this relatively quickly just to give you the idea of what's going on. Technically, you only really need that boundary color, the line that you draw to be a particular color. I could go put in all sorts of interesting colors inside now. That would be totally fine. Um, as long as your edge, this line you drew, is the same color as that one, then you'll be okay. But I'm gonna be not interested in going too crazy with this because I don't want to waste your time in this demonstration. So I'll just fill this. Whoa, yeah. So I tried to fill here and it didn't work. I think it's because there's a gap in my line. It looks like at the top. So let's go back up and fill my gap. And I think that's good. So now I'll fill that in there. And then my inside is going to be, bright red or something. And, I'd probably put in some cool textures and stuff in here. I'm not really sure what color lava is. I feel like it's, you know, a variety of colors. So I'm just going to do whatever. I'm not too worried about it. Sure, I'll do that. That's reasonably lava-like, right? I like. So I'm got one terrain tile done, and now I'll go make another one that's maybe a different shape. So I can just kind of duplicate another one of my guide costumes. Oh, now I should call this something else. This isn't a guide costume anymore. This is actual, lava 1, for example. And then I'll go make a lava 2. And so I'll use the same colors. So I might, actually, I might, maybe I won't duplicate the guide costume. Maybe I'll just duplicate this one because I could see how I could just change this one to be more interesting. So I'll duplicate lava 1. It automatically named it lava 2. And now I can add some things in here. So what I'm going to do is make this more of a curve. So I'll get out my pen tool. I'll change the color. And I want to get the exact same color. So I'll use the eyedropper to grab that color. And I'll make this going to stick out more. But I've got to make sure it still comes to the same end point as before. And then I'll fill this in. But, that little black part's going to probably annoy me. But I want to kind of give a little more space on this side. So maybe I'll grab that. Oh, not that. I'll grab the inside color. And then I'll pen over here. But again, I want to keep the same starting point and end point. So I'll just eat into this side. So this will make a bit of a curve that I got to dodge. And that looks reasonable. I'm just erasing some junk there. And I can now fill with the inside color. And so now I got sort of an S turn. It's got a lot of artifacts in there. You'll want to clean those up too. I might just use a rectangle just to go draw in there and get rid of all those. So that looks nice. And, now I got sort of this one, and maybe I'll make another one. I'll just duplicate it, and I'll just flip it. Actually, is that valid? I didn't really measure, so I don't think flipping is a legit thing to do. I was going to say you could just kind of flip it horizontally, but the distances there might not match up perfectly. So, I'll take a risk on it. And so I can have a lava 3, and then maybe I'll make a lava 4 that's sort of like this one, but it's got an island in the middle, so you got to kind of dodge around it. So I'll just, carve off, maybe make it a little bit bigger inside, give it a bit of wiggle there. I don't know. Not exactly terrain expert. Just widen it out so I can stick an island in the middle of it all. And it's got some artifacts in there, and you'll want to clean those up because otherwise you'll have random collisions and things that, because we're going to be doing our collisions based on color. So there it is. So I'll put a little island in the middle. What's it going to look like? Bump, bump. I'll get this color back. Oh, what? Sorry. Pressing the wrong one. I'll put like a big blah island right here. So you have to somehow go around it. Maybe I'll make a little island here. I'm getting a little too artsy though. So I'm not for the project, but for the demonstration. I don't want to waste your time with a lot of detail here. So I'll rein myself in. But it's kind of fun to draw these. So there we go. So yeah, there's like a new sort of terrain. So I will call in this one Lava 4. All right, and then I'm gonna delete my guide costume. And for my other tile, I just want to get the same costumes. I want to have the same variety in this one as well. So I'll drop that over there. I'll drop this one over here. I'll drop this one over here. And I'll drop this one over here. So now both have the same assortment of things. And then I'm going to move the test, green test, and this one should be called red test. I'm going to move these down. I might still want to test things later on. So I think it's worthwhile to have. And now the final awesome thing is now we can randomize them. So whenever we begin our, yeah, I guess we should probably randomize the costume at the beginning, or maybe not. Maybe I want to start with like the same one always. Oh, that's a backdrop. Sorry. So maybe I want to start with a straightaway right at the beginning. So I'll switch costume to the lava 1. And then in my forever loop, here is where I, at the when we go to recycle this map tile and send it back to the top again, we can choose a random costume. So I can switch to a random costume by going to operators and getting a random number generator and stick it in here. We have 4 to choose from. So we'll switch to costume, and then if we just pick a random number, it'll choose costume 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it'll be random every time. It only happened the one time when we hit the bottom and we go to send this back to the top. We'll make the same changes over here. I don't think I care which one this one starts at, but maybe I do. So maybe I'll also set this one to start as lava 1, so we'll have a nice straightaway at the beginning, like 2 straightaways in a row. And then we'll switch to a random costume when we go to recycle it. So again, that's a random number generator. There we go. And now, if we run this, we'll start with 2 straightaways. And afterwards, it'll pick, oh, looks like it randomly picked the turn. And it picked a second turn in a row. Oh, now here's the island. And it's going to be different each time. So this one's, oh, we got a straightaway, another island. So it's just kind of generating unexpected patterns, which is pretty fun to see. And I'm not seeing it ever choose the other curve. And I'm curious to see the other curve if it turned out okay, because I want to see if it matches. Did I not? That's the thing with randomness. Sometimes it just randomly chooses. Yeah, it started picking number 3 for some reason. Oh, there we go. It's just, I guess randomness is just sometimes very random. And, you might get, 5 islands in a row, and you just can't really control that. But the more you put in, the better. There are some that are a little less pretty than others. Some of these connections don't, like right here. Look at that one. That one didn't work so well. This one's a little bit ugly. So I could go back and fiddle with that and make that a little bit better going forward. So looks like when I flipped it, it didn't quite work out perfectly. So maybe I'll ditch that one and draw my own later. Okay, so that's how you're gonna make your race course randomized, and you can draw whatever sort of theme you want for this. I guess I should also mention you can spice things up by adding in some interesting terrain. Like in this one, I have like trees that are drawn on the surface of it just to make it look a little more interesting. And I think that is great. Like I think that does add something to the game. I think if it was just white and blue, it would be a little bit boring. It helps the imagination, situate yourself in some location. So what am I going to do for my lava? Like maybe I'll put in some like variety of rocks or something. You can always cut and paste pictures that you download from the internet. Maybe I'll put in like volcanoes or something. I'm not too sure what that's going to look like, but something fun, that is more interesting than just red. Okay, so there you go. That's how you generate these random infinite scrolling terrains.